What's up, guys? So as you guys know, I went to E3 this year, and one of the first appointments that I wanted to make, like one of my priorities, was obviously The Witcher 3. I was like, girl, I need to get an appointment, like right now. The good thing is that I was able to make an appointment to see the demo and to get an interview. So that's what, if you guys haven't seen that, I will put that right here. Last year, I also attended the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt demo, and that was when they released the No Man's Land trailer, and they showed some really cool gameplay and stuff. And then this demo was a lot more advanced. You could tell the difference from the previous demo, and the previous demo from last year looks really good. But this one, the biggest advancement was Geralt. Like, the way he looked so different, because it almost seemed like the Geralt from last year's demo looked a lot like the Geralt from Witcher 2. A little like better graphics when it comes to the face, but he looked pretty similar. And now he looks like Geralt, but he looks different. Like, he looks more like he has more expressions, more detail in his face. So I was like, wow, he looks really cool. One thing that I was kind of, and I know that a lot of people are kind of worried about that, but I'm not worried, but I'm just like, is that Geralt's hair looks kind of gray. And he's not the gray wolf, he's the white wolf. So that's one thing that I was really trying to see in the demo, whether his hair looks gray because of shadows or because of the lighting or what. So what I did see in the demo, before I go into the demo, with his hair, his hair does look white when he's like out in the daylight, like when he's riding his horse or whatever. It does look white there. But when he goes inside or indoors, or when he's in a darker place, his hair looks gray. So I think it is like a lighting issue, depending on where he is, but his hair does look white. So before I talk about the details of the demo, I want to talk a little bit about how awesome CD Projekt Red is, because again, we walk in there and like last year, they offer people beer. I was like, my God, like Polish beer, and people are like, I didn't have any because I don't drink, but I was like, that's pretty cool for the people that do drink. We got these pencils, these awesome pencils. I don't know if you could see it, but it's the Witcher pencils. I've been using this now. This is like my go-to pencil. I was like, yeah, no. The first thing we see when we walk into the theater to see the demo is this bag. Everybody gets this bag. I got this is the second time I get this bag. They used this last year as well. But I was like, ooh, what gift did they give this time? Because last year I believe they were giving puzzles, and I didn't get the puzzle when I went to see the demo last year because I saw it late, and they were awesome enough to mail me a puzzle because I didn't get one. So I have the puzzle, but this time around I was like, ooh, I wonder what they're giving. So there's this big box in there, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? How amazing is this? When I saw this, I was like, there's no way they're giving us a statue of Geralt. I looked around the room, everyone had one. I was like, and I opened it just to like peek before the demo starts, and it is literally a statue. How awesome is that? I mean, it's not made out of like metal or anything, but it's kind of heavy. It's not like all like super flimsy. No, it's well made, and it's sturdy. It's kind of like plastic or something, but it's very sturdy, very well made, and I was freaking blown away that they actually gave us all one of these statues. Props to CD Projekt Red for doing that. That's super, super awesome. Oh, and you know what else is in the freaking box? Get your 100% DRM free pre-order of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt on GOG.com today. Redeem this free code. I was like... The demo was a 45-minute demo, and it starts right after the Griffin fight in the trailer. So he's heading towards Novigrad, I think is how you say it, the big city, and he's on his horse. It looks really cool. I really can't wait to like just roam the world on your horse. But he's entering the city, and people everywhere are just going about their business. You can see street musicians going about their day, fishermen, shopkeepers walking around and just like yelling things. You could hear, like, if you go a little bit slow, you could hear people just talking about rumors and stuff. Obviously, prostitutes are all over the place. Well, not all over the place, but you do see some, which is not new for The Witcher. And of course, when you're riding down the streets with your horse, you do bump into people and they're like, "Hey!" Which is really funny. But, I mean, come on. Literally, you gotta get out of the way. You know what I mean? The thing about The Witcher 3 is that it feels a lot like The Witcher 2. And I don't mean the graphics, because the graphics are so much better in this one. But I mean, like, the structure of it. It has those missions within missions within missions, you know, where you want to get one thing, and then you go to some person and they're like, oh, go to the alderman and they'll tell you how to get whatever and ever. And then you go to the alderman and you're like, can I have this so-and-so thing? And the alderman's like, yeah, but only if you go and kill these harpies. And you're like, okay. And then you go and kill the harpies, and then you come back and you're like, okay, now can I have that thing? And then, you know, so it's like a mission within mission within mission. That's how it was in The Witcher 2. I don't know about The Witcher 1 because I never played it, but The Witcher 2, that's how it was. Another thing that is returning from the previous Witcher games is the yellow and the white dialogue choices. These dialogue choices weren't just like choose whatever and you'll eventually end up in the same place anyways, or like you're just getting information. Some of these actually do change the storyline. If you remember in Witcher 2, sometimes if you were to choose one dialogue, and I think it was the yellow one that actually had an impact to the mission or to the story, to the main story, sometimes there was like consequences to that choice. I remember there was this one choice when it came to Triss, I believe, where in The Witcher 2, I won't go into spoilers, but there was this one choice where if you had chosen it opposed to the other one, it would like completely change your direction to where you were going. And then obviously there was the change of complete direction where you're just like, you could play the game two ways pretty much. Like you could just split and completely change the game. So the game is absolutely non-linear. You could affect the world, you could affect the mission, you could affect the storyline with your choices. In this demo, Geralt is looking for somebody and he's asking people, have you seen the ashen-haired girl? First I thought black hair when I heard Ash, the ashen-haired girl. I was like, oh, it must be Yennefer. But then I was like, wait a minute, it's Ciri, because Ciri has white hair, or like ash-colored hair. So I was like, oh my gosh, he's looking for Ciri. And people are like, you know what, I haven't, but you go to this one place and then this creature should know about it, or whatever, this person knows about it. So you go to this location. While you're going to this location, it's I think it was in the mountains or something. They show a little bit off of climbing. You could actually climb mountains, you could climb ladders, you could climb buildings. So when you meditate, you could change the time of day again. So there's dawn, noon, day, and midnight. So where Geralt goes to find this creature, this kid, this boy-looking creature, is No Man's Land. Where he went to the trailer, so it's like the swampy area. So he goes there with a fast travel, because they said that where you are originally is actually super far away, where you're just like, and for the purposes of the demo, if they actually walked there or even took their horse there, it would probably be like an over an hour long demo. So for the purposes of the demo, they just fast traveled, but they did give us an idea of how far it is and how you could actually traverse that land area that they fast traveled. Fast travel, actually, there was no load. Like, they literally just clicked on the area and you were there. I was like, wow, that's so cool. That's the power of the next gen and, of course, PC. So what this creature turns out to be is what Geralt calls a godling. It does look like a little boy, and he goes by the name of Johnny, and he doesn't have a voice. He lost his voice. So now Johnny wants Geralt to help him get his voice back before he could tell him where this ashen-haired girl is. So that's what I mean by mission within mission within mission. So you went here to look for Johnny to tell you where Ciri was, but then Johnny's like, no, you have to help me get my voice back before I tell you. And we also saw fights with the I think they were called drowners. There were those things that would come out of the swamps, and they were everywhere. We fight a few of those, so they show off a little bit of how your combat you could like use the environment around you to benefit yourself. So for example, when you were in the swamps, like there were some gases like emitting from the ground, and you could use Igni and it'll light up the gases and it'll burn things easier and stuff like that. So that's how they were killing some of the drowners. The signs are just so awesome. The sounds are so much more improved, and the capabilities of the signs are also improved. Igni you could now hold, and it's now like a flamethrower. I don't think you could like completely have it on forever and just like and burn everything, but you could hold it, which was something that you couldn't do in The Witcher. In The Witcher, it was just like flame throwing, and in this one, you could hold it. You could also choose to just throw flame, like in The Witcher 2. But this is, I think it probably has to do with the way that you level that up. And the leveling of the signs and everything else is improved. There's more options. Each tree could become a lot stronger than it has in the past. The menu system looks a lot like it did in The Witcher 2. Where you've got like a section for the armor, you have a section for the weapons, and then you could like put runes on the weapons, and the secondary weapon like daggers or crossbows, and equipment. You could also put equipment. Though in the demo, Geralt, his equipment was his trophy. Like sometimes the trophies would give you like a +1 or plus something to whatever stat or whatever. So he would carry around sometimes it was like a claw or something. So a lot of familiar stuff returning from The Witcher 2, but you could tell that it has been improved. The crossbow was pretty cool because you could now use it for like ranged, especially for monsters that fly, like harpies and stuff like that. And there is no, at least that I didn't see it. I don't know if it's probably a different button or something, but there is no zooming in with the crossbow. At least they didn't show it. Now there probably will be, but they did not show zooming in with the crossbow like you do sometimes in games. It was just literally Geralt taking out the crossbow and just like shooting it like a gun. The crossbow bolts are customizable as well, so I'm guessing you could get like explosion bolts or like stunning bolts, maybe something like that. Once you get Johnny his voice back after like killing this one monster, you don't have to kill it. You could actually make different decisions with what you do with it, which was cool. That's where you saw the yellow and the white dialogues. So things could go differently, but they did decide to just kill the monster and get Johnny's voice back. Geralt does move a lot better in battle than he used to. In Witcher 2, there was a lot of rolling going on, and it was like, now it's like he actually like dodges and moves from side to side or jumps back. He moves a lot better. He moves a lot more like a fighter, like an experienced fighter, like what you would expect a Witcher how a Witcher would move, especially Geralt. Like swift, controlled. Everything about him is just controlled, swift, and you could tell that sometimes, like with with attacks that you hold to be stronger. I love how the animation of Geralt, where he just like looks like he's putting a lot of strength into it, and then he just whoosh, and he cuts, and it'll give you more damage, and it just gives you that added feeling of being a Witcher, of controlling Geralt. So after you get Johnny's voice and you give it to him, he's got some funny lines. Like he's a pretty funny kid, or thing, godling thing. You do get a little bit of a taste of the return of that humor side to The Witcher that we've seen in the past. So it does have some funny moments. It's not all serious. After this, we go to what seems to be a witch, like this lady in the forest, who knows about this ashen-haired girl, and the Witcher goes there. Johnny takes him there, and what she does is she connects with this picture on the wall, like this painting of 3 other witches, like 3 women, and they look super pretty on the picture and all that. And she connects with them, and she talks to them, and they start telling her, because they're the ones that know where Ciri is. But again, and there's another mission within the mission. They're like, you have to go take this dagger to the alderman, and he's going to tell you what to do or whatever before we actually tell you. So the Witcher gets the dagger, goes to the alderman, and the alderman's like, you have to go kill this one creature, and then I'll help you. They end up having to fight a werewolf and some wolves, and that looked like a pretty tough fight because they were getting hit a lot. And it seems like, even though it's like, oh, there's just a pack of wolves, the wolves seem to really attack Geralt fast. So you have to respond quickly depending on the monster, and there is the return of doing research on the monsters, like there was in the previous game, which I liked, where you had to go get a book on, say, on harpies or whatever, and it would actually tell you there, like, what they were weak against. And if you didn't read it, it would be a little bit harder to take down the monster. But if you did read it, you would be like, oh, okay, they're immune to Quen or whatever, and their weakness is fire, so you could take them down easier. So after you take that out and you go back to the alderman, he's like, okay, and he cuts his ear off with the dagger, and I guess it was like an offering to the witches, like that's what they needed for some kind of ritual or whatever. And you go back to the witches, and they actually come out of the picture, but they're these like freaking ugly things. Like there's no way that they look anything like the picture on the wall. And the Witcher even says, he's like, you guys look different from the picture. They finally tell the Witcher about Ciri, where she is, and that she actually stayed there with them for a little bit. They found her. Turns out that Ciri was hurt, and it actually shows the scene of Ciri being found and all that, and she's like, so it actually shows Ciri, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. Yeah, she's like hurt, and she's in the forest, and then they find her, and she stays there for a little bit, but she's gone now. So it ends with them saying that Ciri has like elder blood or something like that. But even though there are people that are like, who the hell is Ciri, or like, who the hell is that, they did it in a way that you could still find it interesting, where you're just like, ooh, I want to know who this is, and how she ties to Geralt. Like, who is she to Geralt? So it's not like they're completely alienating the people that don't know who Ciri is, who haven't read the books at all. So it does intrigue you to find out more, and I think they are going to explain that very well in the game, maybe through those comic book cartoon things that they would show in the Witcher 1 and in the Witcher 2, where they would tell a story. Sometimes they were telling a little bit of backstory from the books, or they were telling a little bit of backstory about the characters, so that you get a good idea about what was going on for people that didn't know anything about the games or the books or anything like that. So you could catch up a little bit. But even for people that did know, it was still interesting because it looked cool, and you're like, oh, I love how they do this. At least I did. I loved those animations because it just, I don't know, it just added this sense of storytelling and like narrating at the same time, and I love the comic feel to it. It makes sense because there's a lot to explain there, especially with Yennefer, especially with Ciri. Another thing that we did get to see that I didn't mention is Geralt actually diving in the water. He dives in the water like under this, in this cave or something like that, and he actually goes under the water, and he's like swimming. It looks really cool, but we didn't see that much of it. It was just him going under the water and then swimming up out of the water into this other cave. So it's like a underwater cavern type of thing where he comes out on the other side. But he does have a breathing meter. It doesn't go down very fast, but you do have a breathing meter. I think the fighting monsters in the water, I think that's more of a defense system that they implemented so that you could defend yourself. And it's not like, oh, just, you better swim, boy, like, you gotta run, yo. I doubt it's that kind of like, oh, let's hunt monsters on the water. Another thing that's returning is the toxicity levels and from the mutagens that you take. So you still have to keep an eye on that. So you still have that strategic side to the Witcher, where you would meditate and actually be like, okay, I'm going to go into this fight. What am I going to be fighting? What do I need to do? What's the weakness? What do I have to do to actually survive this easier and not have to freaking grind and die like 15,000 times until I finally kill it by chance? No, like actually plan it out and have it be so that Geralt responds in a way that a Witcher would, and not have him like freaking struggle, because then it's like it takes the immersion away. You actually become the Witcher. You actually feel like you're prepared, like you know how to take this monster down, and you probably will end up dying a few times, but probably less than if you went unprepared. The game is looking amazing. I cannot wait to play the game. Details, the amount of detail is just, I was like, wow. The expressions they're dead on perfect on the facial expressions. Obviously, I can't provide any visual stuff of the demo because they didn't let us record it or anything like that. So if you guys do have some questions, ask me in the comments down below, and I will try to answer them directly. I will answer a few questions if you guys have some that I might be able to and that I didn't address in the video. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt demo at E3 behind closed doors. I still have a lot of E3 content coming out. And again, I'm not just putting up content on my channel. I'm also putting up content on Video Games Blogger. I am a writer on the site. I'm going to put them on here because I already talked about the behind closed doors of Batman Arkham Knight. Here, I put that in Video Games Blogger, and I also have a commentary / interview, audio only, of Assassin's Creed Unity up on there already, and the Unity one is pretty cool. I couldn't get any of the footage. I couldn't record it. I was like, can I record this? They were like, no. So they only allowed me to record audio. But he does explain a lot of stuff from Assassin's Creed Unity. It's like a commentary to the gameplay, and I do ask him a few questions. So if you are interested in any of those games, go check that out. I will have more footage on there for E3, and I am still going to be putting out some more stuff on my channel as well. So I'm splitting stuff up because I pretty much went to E3 because of Video Games Blogger. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.